Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is the Ohio Valley Real Estate Report brought to you by Harvey, Goodman, Realtor. We are broadcasting live from our St. Clairsville office studio. My name is Johnny Kazumka, and Kayla Pender is joining me this morning, or should I say afternoon. So, Kayla, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, anytime. So today we are going to be talking about your journey, your path, everything that led you to a career in real estate, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, all the details. So, basically, how'd you get started and what led you to wanting to be in real estate?
So, of course, a real estate journey is something that is stressful. And if you don't have the perfect real estate agent, sometimes it can be a little bit of a rocky road. And so we were searching for about a year and ended up with a real estate agent that was actually from this office. It was Maria Reynolds.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria. So I believe she's retired now. I'm pretty sure that we were her last deal that she took before she retired. And she was such an amazing real estate agent, made the process so smooth and took so much of the stress away. And it just inspired me. I wanted to do that for other people because real estate, a lot of people don't know what's going on. They have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, I always say that our job is not exactly the most difficult job as compared to, let's just say, surgery or other types of things. But it's a very, very stressful thing where one mistake, it's the single largest financial transaction people make in a lifetime. Right. And while it's not necessarily complicated, a bulk of my job is pulling the levers at the right time, making the networks and the communications and just finessing your way through the transaction, which is something that if anybody makes a mistake, it could be a very, very costly mistake.
Right.
So, like I said, our job isn't necessarily the most difficult in comparison to others, but it is something that you don't want to make that, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. To help lead the process and to make it smoother and help you understand a little bit more of the process, because most people do not know the process of buying a home.
Yeah, and the process is pretty much the most difficult part. In fact, that's the reason why our jobs exist, is because of that process. You know, all loans created equal, they're not the same way. Most buyers chalk it up to going and talking to a lender, hey, I'm approved for a mortgage, I'm going to go buy a house.
Right.
I wish it was that simple.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not. So so it's great to hear that Maria helped you with that. And I haven't talked to her in forever, but she was one of my favorite mentors when I got started over here. She's such a sweetheart. So hopefully she's watching.
Yeah, right. She's so soft spoken and just has such a calm aura about her that it just helped the whole process be a calm situation.
Sure. Yep. So with your process, where did you and how did you get licensed? Where did you take your courses, and how did that all start?
So I went did online classes through Hondros.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about a year to get everything completed, get through all of my courses, get my tests done, and things like that. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, of course, you have to find a sponsoring broker. So I came in and spoke to John, and he was willing to bring me onto the crew. And so once I passed the test, I came on in.
Sure. So when you say online courses, you signed up pretty much online as far as at hondros.com. And roughly, what was was it still around 1,000? Last time I checked, it was about 1,000 to 1,500.
Yep. So it was 1,700 for mine, but I think I got like the middle plan, and it came with the crammer and things like that to help reviewing at the end of your courses.
And the crammer is basically just something that you take right before you go and take your actual tests.
Yep.
And
you
cram.
Yep. Over and over. You can take it as many times as you want. And it kind of sets you up and lets you know what you need to work on before the test.
Yeah. So yours is a little bit different, your path, because I actually had to go in person, and I went to Belmont College and sat in class for about, I want to say, anywhere between 5 to 8 hours per class.
Wow.
Because when I was doing them, it was 4 courses of 30 hours apiece, 120 credit hours. Was that the same for you still?
Yes.
Yeah, so you had to do finance, appraisal, ethics, and law. Law was always the fun one. Yeah. Ethics, I think, is the easiest one. Just do what a good person would do.
Exactly.
But the law and learning what a holographic will is, and all the joint tenancy and all the stuff that you very rarely ever come across. But,
it may come up one time. Yep.
So I always liken it to the new agents are sometimes the best ones to work with. For that reason, you were so fresh off that block that you retain everything that there is to know.
Right.
In fact, we used to do a game at our RPAC meetings and auctions called "Are You Smarter Than a New Agent?" And trust me, if I had to take the test again right now, I don't think I could pass it.
Yeah.
Because of the lost knowledge that you're focused within this whirlwind and helping clients on a daily basis, that all that other small stuff that it takes to get here, it's just, it's this elephant in the room.
Right. You kind of forget about that stuff and put it on the back burner in your brain.
Yep.
Yep.
So what is your transition like in life as far as what were you doing before real estate, and then how are you handling the scheduling, the adjustment to this career?
So I have done a little bit of everything. I have a daughter, and so nowadays it's almost impossible to find a job that works with your kid's school schedule. My fiance works, but his schedule, we can't really rely on his schedule because his schedule moves around so much with work that it's basically just me and her, and I've got to figure it out from there, which is another reason why I wanted to become a real estate agent, because you make your own schedule for the most part. But
Sure.
I've done a lot before becoming a real estate agent. My most recent, I actually worked at a pizza shop because it was easy with my daughter's schedule at school. And before that, I actually did Pure Romance, which was another business where I was my own boss. And I think that running that business itself helped open me up and be able to not have anxiety so much about talking to people and having meetings and all these things that we have to do as a real estate agent.
Sure.
So, and it also was, I was my own boss. So I had to make my own schedule, which also was kind of relating to what we have here, which helped a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely multifaceted. And this is, it's funny that you mentioned about like talking with people, because it's a stat. And hey, Matt, thanks for the comment. And Stacy, thank you for liking the stream. But there's a stat that says that people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death. Which is, I mean, seriously.
I believe that. I can believe that.
And I've never been one of those people that have ever been afraid to talk, which if anybody watching or knows me, they're going to laugh because, I just, I can rant about anything. Yeah. So, no, I mean, you certainly seem approachable and personable, which is going to take you, very, very far in this career.
Right.
Those that have that kind of timid, that attitude, or that are afraid. Because our job is essentially matchmaking. I've always told people, and if Stacy Seidler is watching this, she's going to disagree adamantly, one of our agents in our wheeling office. I am not in sales. I don't think you're in sales. I don't think Stacy's in sales. Everyone thinks this job is sales related. Yeah, we help sell houses, but we never sell the house. The seller is the one selling the house.
Right.
My job is the matchmaking. My job is consultation. And so the communication when I'm dealing with inspectors and lenders and appraisers and title companies and everything else, if you're not personable or able to make friends and able to, it makes it so much more difficult when, someone's calling, oh man, I don't want to talk to this person again.
Right.
So, no, like I said, you certainly have the demeanor and the every quality that I could ever think of as far as a successful agent.
Awesome.
So, yep.
Thank you.
So, how are your clients, and have you showing houses, have any listings? I mean, what's your incoming list right now?
So I actually was licensed in May, and I have done more than 10 showings, I'd say. I've done a good bit of showings. I've done one open house for another client. I helped her out and did, or not a client, but another real estate agent. I did an open house for her, and I actually have my first house under contract, which has been a learning curve, that's for sure, because you go to school and you learn all the terms and all the things, but they don't actually teach you how to write a contract.
Well, yeah, the contracts themselves, I mean, from brokerage to brokerage, they can be, they differ a little bit. One will ask us to pay, title insurance, and the others, they vary. So you have to, certainly read and do your due diligence there. That's exactly the bulk of our work. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that once you get the hang of it, it's not something that is, you can almost do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
So
it was funny, the day that I had my clients wanting to put in an offer on the home, I came into the office and it was a regular weekday, middle of the day, but no one was here except Bob, which Bob helped a lot. He did. He saved the day, but nobody was here to help me, so I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to act like I knew what I was doing. It was pretty funny, just because you're nervous, you're writing your first contract, you want to make sure you get it right, so it was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I get it. And by the way, hey Billy, thanks for the follow. It's one of those things where I always say sharks are born swimming, because you get your license, you go through your courses, and that's kind of what we're talking about today, especially if anybody's watching this and wants to get into this career. It's not necessarily the most difficult thing. Online courses, doing your due diligence and passing. You need to take a state and federal level exam, and you are licensed. You go to work.
Yep.
You sit with a brokerage, and you have a desk like this, and then what?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard because a lot of the agents sometimes are, I don't want to say a lot. I'm always of the mentality where if I have my hand open and I have something in my hand, you can take this pen out of my hand, right? But if I close it, then you can't grab it.
Right.
But if I leave it open, while you might be able to take this pen, you can add something else to this as well. I'm always giving things back and forth. I'm trying to be an open book. Other agents, this is a very competitive market where their hands are always closed. They don't want to help. Your failure means that your constituents, your clients, will be something that I would eventually consume.
Right.
The more agents there are, the more, the less pool that I have to pull from. I think that's a terrible mentality. So I encourage others, if anyone's watching this, there's enough to go around and to all of us to be successful.
Right.
But as far as that's concerned, this office, Harvey Goodman, has been a lifeline to me. Where I started at a different company, and they were good. I don't want to bash anybody or anything else. It was fine, but the difference here with the training and the things of getting me up on my feet, I wouldn't be in real estate if it was. Hey, Lori, thanks for the comment. I wouldn't be in real estate if it wasn't for my business partner, Scott.
Right.
I sincerely think that I would have fizzled out along the way because I didn't have the same level of, he was basically, building me up. So hopefully you've gotten the same experience.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So Tim has actually helped me tons. There's been a lot of people that have helped pitch in when I'm, need help and I have questions. There's a lot of people that have been able to help. And I think that is very important to be able to have someone that's there and to give them credit to appreciate, make sure that they know that you appreciate their time because they didn't have to give you their time and to guide you and help you along the way. They could have closed their hand and they could have walked away. So
yeah, and there's a lot of incentive, which is kind of like I was saying for all the wrong reasons to do so. Where if there's only right now, I think combined between Ohio and West Virginia, there's somewhere in the realm of 500 real estate agents, which you can find a real estate agent on every block in the Ohio Valley. Some of them do it part-time. Some of them are just, they have their primary job and then they take a listing as a secondary, supplemental source of income. Some do it for tax write-offs, there's 100 different reasons. I don't care why you get into this career. Just know that it's not exactly, if you're watching this and you're thinking of a career, I would like to think that our brokerage would be at least at the top of the list of someone's first choice for that reason alone. When you go to the online brokerages and all these other places, which they can be attractive, I don't know what their training looks like.
Right.
I can sit here and say that this office, this studio, everything that was built here was because of the success that I've had with this company and the training that I've got from this company that without, I would not be here.
Right.
Which is, it's more important. So, any other stories or anything else that you can think of that you're...
Well, you just saying that, it just reminded me that part of the reason, so you have all these options when you become a real estate agent to choose as your broker. And I did review a couple of other brokerages and things like that, but I didn't grow up here in this area. I actually grew up in South Carolina. So a lot of people here don't know me. They don't know my name. I don't have the school of friendships and the line, of family friends and everything that came from that. So when I was choosing a brokerage, I didn't want to choose something that was online or something that wasn't well heard of, because then if the company's not well heard of and my name's not well heard of, how well am I going to do? So when I chose Harvey Goodman, part of it was because they're known around here. So that would help me become known around here. So that was a big decision maker for me before choosing an online or something that's local. Yeah,
and I've always said that too, especially as again there's the competitive side of the industry, there's kind of the giving side of the industry, and somewhere in between, where if you had to look at it from two different spectrums, and it's always kind of always liken it to Ivy League colleges. Like let's just say you graduated from Harvard Law, you have $1 million worth of student loan debt, and you're this young professional. And then they come knocking on your door and they want a $50,000 donation back to this wing of the college.
Right.
Why on earth, after you spent all this money, would you want to donate, an absurd money back? Not just for a tax write-off, but the reason for that really is because while your degree is on the wall, I don't know if you can see all my stuff back here, but while your degree is on the wall, you want that school to mean something.
Right.
And because it gives that degree merit.
Right.
Same thing with the brokerage. Same thing where you go and where you hang your hat and everything else. It matters. It significantly matters. It's the deal. From my experience specifically, it was the deal between surviving and going and doing something else with my life. And fortunately, like I said, I made the right decision at the time because it was stressful. Switching brokerages is really stressful. It's talking to someone who's done it. I will never leave.
Right.
It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not leaving. I'm staying here.
I'm here whether you like it or not.
I'm staying. This is where, they'll have to carry me out of here. So, but any guidance for anyone else who is thinking of getting into the career, or anything else?
So real honest guidance. You have to be motivated and you have to have the drive, because it is your own business and you do make your own schedule and you put in your own work, and there's guidance along the way and there's help along the way if you ask for it. If you're not going to ask for it and sit, sometimes you're not going to get the help. So for anyone that's interested in becoming a real estate agent, you're not going to just get your license and then sit at home and everything's going to come to you.
No,
don't work like that.
Certainly, you get back what you put in.
Exactly.
And that's I love that part of the job where you mentioned the schedule, because I got a 5-year-old little boy that is. I used to have so much more hair. I mean, seriously, I could grow hair 5 years ago. Now it's that's why I wear a hat all the time.
Right.
But it's awesome to be able to be to make my own schedule to work. Not that. I've said it before that I don't think I've worked a day in the last 10 years.
Right.
Not that I haven't. My day is completely busy. Like today, as soon as I leave here, I got multiple showings, listing appointments, back to back. But it's nice to be able to work from home if you have to.
Right.
So there is but you're right. It can be a little bit daunting that it takes roughly 5 years to become an overnight success.
Right.
So it's not going to be it's not going to be handed to you. You got to get out there and do all the politicking and get your name out there. It's a lot of it's a big uphill battle, but once you're at the top of that hill and then on the downward slope, there's nothing like being your own independent boss.
Right.
So
they recommend keeping your day job until you're.
Well, I'll never forget it, because I worked at Outback for 10 years, well, roughly maybe 11 years between here, and I lived in Savannah, Georgia for a little while, going back and forth. And I remember being at my different brokerage where I started, and taking a phone call and saying, hey, I'll have to call you back, and whatever, this isn't a good time.
Right.
And it was for a $300,000 listing at the time, and I didn't have any listings, and I ended up losing it because I wasn't able to take that call. And
right.
I remember the very next day I walked in and said, here's my 2 weeks notice. I'm taking the leap.
Yeah.
And because I was single, I didn't have working spouse. I was just on my own.
Right.
And it's a very kind of scary thing to do, because even if you went out today and sold a house on your way out after this podcast, you still got to get to closing.
Right.
And you're 30 to 60 days from collecting a paycheck from today. So what do you do in that interim, that middle, which is scary. But if you have the means to be able to do both and slowly transition is what advisable.
Yeah.
For me, I jumped.
Yeah.
I just jumped out, and it's like jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
I was kind of in the same situation when I was working at the pizza shop, and I got my license here, and of course my phone's ringing off the hook, and or I'm getting leads, and I'm wanting to snatch the leads, but I'm throwing toppings on pizza, gloves on, they're greasy. I can't really, be answering my phone. So you definitely have to figure out a way to balance it, or have a side job that is less demanding, I guess, of you.
Well, I have no doubts that you will be tremendously successful just from casual conversation. That's really all I have for words of wisdom. Anything else before we sign off here?
I don't think so. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Well, hopefully you come back to the podcast. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. This is the Ohio Valley Real Estate Report, brought to you by Harvey, Goodman, Realtor. We'll see you next time.